The RV market didn't bend, it snapped. Dealers are whispering it, auction lanes are shouting it, and the real story starts years before the listings that make your jaw drop. Before the pandemic, the RV industry ran like a small town with busy summers and quiet winters. In Elkhart County, Indiana, where most RVs in America are built, factories sped up in May and slowed when the snow came. In 2019, the industry shipped a little over 400,000 rigs. That was high by old standards, but it was manageable. Interest rates were low, loans were cheap, buyers were mostly retirees and road trip families. People planned vacations, booked campgrounds, and traded used trailers at normal prices. Nothing wild. Then 2020 hit, and the rules broke. Flights were risky. Hotels felt crowded. Outdoor space was freedom. Families that had never thought of owning a trailer started browsing. Social feeds filled with van builds and campground shots, orders hit dealers like a flood. At first, factories could not get parts. There was a shortage of wood, foam, windows, axle parts, refrigerators, and even the chassis under motorhomes. But the demand was so strong that production caught up. In 2021, RV shipments broke records. The industry built more than it ever had in a single year. Anywhere you looked, prices climbed. A mid-range towable that once sold for $25,000 now pushed past $35,000. A Class C that sat at $70,000 sprinted toward $90,000. Used rigs that had already lived hard were suddenly selling for more than they cost new. It looked like a boom with no end. But the real driver hiding under that boom was not camping, it was credit. Every RV dealer uses something called floor plan credit. Think of it like a giant credit card for each unit on the lot. The bank fronts the money for inventory. The dealer pays interest every month until that unit sells. When the economy is calm and interest is 2%, that cost feels small. When units fly off the lot in 30 days, no one worries about interest at all. But each unsold rig is a meter that never stops. And in 2020 and 2021, dealers ordered like demand would never slow. Factories helped that happen. They offered incentives for volume. Dealers chased their allocations. If you did not order 20 of a hot floor plan now, you would be stuck with none for the next season. Delivery times slipped. Some orders took 6 months to a year. Buyers waited, sometimes impatiently, which meant dealers overpromised. If one buyer canceled, the next person on the list would take it. That was the logic. It worked until it didn't. Here is where the trap started to close. The same shortages that made orders feel exclusive also hurt quality. Workers were new, shifts ran late, training lagged. Reports of leaking roofs, miswired outlets, and loose trim rows. Warranty claims piled up. On top of that, chassis makers like Ford and Mercedes cut production because of chip shortages. Some motorhome models were built but did not move because a missing sensor, a missing generator, or a missing refrigerator held them. Dealers took partial deliveries out of order, which stacked inventory in weird ways. The lot filled with what was available, not with what was wanted. That mattered later. Then 2022 arrived, and the bill came due. Fuel prices spiked. For a gas class A that gets about 6 to 8 miles per gallon, filling an 80-gallon tank could cost over $300 in one stop. Diesel pushers do 7 to 10 miles per gallon with bigger tanks. One fill could hit $500 or more. Tall vehicles pulling a 30-foot trailer watch their fuel economy drop into the low teens or worse. Those numbers forced families to do math. For many, the trip looked less fun at double the gas cost. Most of all, interest rates climbed. In 2021, an RV loan for a strong credit buyer could be 5% or lower. By late 2023, many buyers saw 8 to 11% offers from banks and credit unions. On the dealer side, floor plan costs climbed even faster. Curtailments, which are scheduled paydowns the dealer must make every 30 to 90 days, and RV sits unsold, hit harder. A unit that aged past 90 days might require the dealer to pay 10% of the principal. At 180 days, that might be another 10%. Each month, interest stacked on top. Let me tell you this, when a lot is packed with rigs and sales slow, the floor plan turns from a tool into a fire. Dealers call the moment they start dumping inventory correction. The truth is, they are fighting the meter with a hose that never turns off. Some lenders audit lots, which means they show up and count units. If a unit is gone and the payoff has not posted, that is a default. If too many units age past agreed times, lenders can pull the line and ask for cash right now. That is how a busy business can look fine on Monday and be gone on Friday. By mid-2023, the market shifted. Industry shipment data fell from the peak. Wholesale shipments dropped by a third or more compared to 2021. Used values, which had gone crazy in 2021, cooled fast. Guides that track auction sale prices and dealer trade-ins showed towables dropping 20% from peak values. Some lines dropped more. Motorhomes fell too, though a bit less. That meant anyone who bought at the top was now underwater. It also meant dealers with floors full of inventory at high costs needed to move units before their interest ate them alive. Auctions tell you the real mood. In normal times, an auction lane feels like a game. Dealers bid, flip, and joke. In late 2023 and into 2024, more units rolled through with no bids at reserve price. No sale flashed more often. A trailer that used to bring $30,000 wholesale now struggled to get 22. A gas class C that brought 60 during the boom in the lanes now sat at 45 with everyone waiting. The $5,000 deals you see online do exist, but they are not magic. Many are older towables around 20 years old. Some are ex-rental motorhomes with over 100,000 miles. Others are insurance units or government disposals. A few are bargains. Many carry silent trouble. But it gets crazier. In California, a set of rules that barely made national news landed like a hammer. The state set strict rules on small off-road engines, the kind used in gasoline RV generators. As of 2024, new sales of many of those engines were banned unless they met tough emissions limits. Some new motorhomes built with older generator models could not be sold in the state. Dealers had stock, but they could not deliver until manufacturers shipped compliant units or retrofit kits. On top of that, California and several other states pushed heavy-duty emissions standards for diesel engines tighter, which affected some transport and specialty chassis. None of this alone caused the national slump, but it made a bad picture worse in one of the biggest markets. If you owned a dealership there, you got squeezed 3 ways at once. Your floor plan meter was running. Your backlog included rigs you could not sell because of a generator rule. And your customers were seeing monthly payments hundreds of dollars higher than what they expected in 2021. You can guess what happened next. Cancellations rose. Some buyers asked for their deposits back. Others took delivery and then came back for repairs. Warranty departments were swamped. Manufacturers faced buyback requests under lemon laws when repeated fixes failed. Not every claim won. Enough did to stress the system. You thought that was big? Try this. Rental fleets that had grown fast during peak demand started to prune. Companies that own fleets of Class C motorhomes sold off older units, often in big batches. That pushed more supply into the used channels. And after hurricane seasons, flooded units from coastal states fed the salvage pipeline. Within months, some of those flood vehicles reappeared miles inland. They looked clean. They smelled like lemon spray, but behind the walls, they carried corrosion in wiring and frames. On paper, many carried clean titles because of gaps between states in how damage is recorded. That is called title washing. It is legal in some cases. It is a nightmare for buyers who do not check the vehicle identification number across databases. Here's where buyers felt the real sting. Someone scrolls late at night and sees a 2011 travel trailer for $5,000. The photos sparkle. It seems like a steal, but the bid is just the start. Auctions add a buyer's premium. 10% is common. There are document fees. There can be storage fees if you do not pick up on time. Transport is not free and fuel is not cheap. Towing a trailer 1,000 miles or hiring a hauler adds hundreds to thousands. On top of that, you may need tires, brakes, batteries, and seals right away. That $5,000 deal can land near $8,000 or $9,000 before you sleep in it. That can still be a fair price. It is not a miracle. So what changed? The simple answer is money. The deeper answer is timing. The industry scaled for a once-in-a-lifetime spike. It borrowed against that spike. The spike faded faster than expected. When money gets tight, everything slows at once. Dealers hold back on orders. Factories cut shifts. Suppliers lay off. Elkhart County, which roared in 2021, got quiet by late 2023. Storage lots filled. Grass grew between the tires of rigs that had never touched a highway. It looked like a boomtown after the gold ran out. But wait, this next part changes everything. Not every corner of the market crashed the same way. High-volume towables that target first-time buyers got hit the hardest. Names you see everywhere, like Keystone Springdale, Jayco Jay Flight, and River Salem and Wildwood, were built by the thousands. Those floor plans are good. The parts are common. The problem is not the design. The problem is scale. When dealers have too many of the same thing, they compete on price. That drives values down. A roof leak or a stiff slide turns a cheap unit into a money pit fast, so buyers got picky. They looked for clean roofs, dry ceilings, and straight floors. Anything soft, they walked. By contrast, compact trailers from before the boom started to shine. Lightweight models built around 2008 to 2012 that used aluminum frames and simple systems held up well. A Keystone Passport, a Palomino Puma, a Dutchman Aerolite. They do not have giant screens. They do not have fancy lighting. But when stored under cover and sealed on time, they age with fewer surprises. Single-axle versions can show uneven tire wear and bent spindles, so you still have to check them. If the floor is firm, the roof is dry, and the title is clean, the odds are in your favor. Parts are cheap. Towing is easier. Insurance tends to be lower. Contrarian buyers did even better by going where everyone else wasn't. While the crowd chased big bunkhouses, they hunted TrailManor foldables, older hybrid expandables, and solid pop-ups from the late 2000s. These rigs are simple. Fewer systems mean fewer things to break. A well-kept pop-up with a steel frame and dry canvas does not look cool on Instagram, but it will not leave you on the side of the road either. Prices fell into 4 digits when no one paid attention. A patient buyer could restore one, camp with it, and sell it later when the cycle turned. And here's where it gets wild. In the middle of this downturn, the dream of electric RVs started to get loud. Prototypes showed up. Renderings promised near-silent camping. The idea is exciting. The physics are stubborn. Towing slams range on electric trucks. A gas truck that gets 20 miles per gallon empty might get 10 towing a big trailer. An electric truck with 300 miles of range empty can drop to 150 or less with a tall, heavy trailer behind it. That means more stops, and each stop might take 30 minutes or more if the charger is open and working. Charging while attached can be hard because of how stations are laid out. Some RV parks added EV charging, but not nearly enough. Electric motorhome concepts face a similar wall. Big batteries are heavy. Fast charging a motorhome-sized battery takes serious infrastructure. That does not mean it will not happen. It means timelines and costs are real. Amid a cash crunch, most dealers are not betting on big electric inventory yet. So what should a smart buyer do in this mess? Start by knowing real-world costs. A Class B camper van on a modern van chassis can get 14 to 20 miles per gallon. That is the best fuel number for a motorized RV, but Class Bs are expensive up front. A new one can be north of $100,000. Used prices dropped from peak, but they are still high. A Class C on a gas chassis gets 8 to 12 miles per gallon. It is the workhorse of rentals for a reason. It is easy to drive. It is cheap to service compared to a diesel pusher. A gas Class A is big, but still gets 6 to 8 miles per gallon. Diesel pushers are 7 to 10, but service costs are higher. A set of 6 to 8 tires on a big coach can cost $3,000 to $5,000 installed. A roof reseal can be $1,000 to $3,000. Slide-out repairs vary widely. Batteries are not cheap, especially lithium packs. Factor those in before you fall in love with a price. Now the paperwork. Every RV carries a VIN on the frame and a plate inside. That number must match the title exactly. If any digit looks scratched or restamped, walk. Check the number with a national database that links state title records. Make sure the brand matches, the model year matches, and the title status is clean. If a unit moved between states, be extra careful. Some states mark floods and total losses clearly. Others do not. Fresh paperwork on an old unit is a red flag. Ask to see past registration copies, service receipts, and photos from earlier years. If the seller hesitates, that is a clue. When you see a candidate, do a simple 30-minute check. Bring a flashlight. On the roof, look for cracks in sealant and dips in decking. Around windows and a front cap, press lightly. Soft spots mean water got in. Inside, sniff for mildew. Follow your nose. Open every cabinet. Look at the ceiling near vents. Bubbles in the wallpaper tell you water is behind it. Plug into shore power if you can. Turn on lights, outlets, and appliances at once. If breakers pop, note it. Run the water pump. Look for leaks at the water heater and under the sink. Spray soapy water on propane connections. Bubbles mean leaks. Crawl under and check frame rails, welds, and spring hangers for rust. Check tire date codes. If the tires are over 6 years old, budget to replace them even if the tread looks fine. Tires age out before they wear out on RVs. That is a safety issue, not a style choice. On price, use the market to your advantage. In a soft market, cash and patience are leverage. Do not anchor on the sticker. Look up recent wholesale auction sales of similar models to know where dealers are selling to each other. That is your baseline. Offer with that number in mind. State your price and be quiet. It feels awkward. It works. Many sellers, even dealers, would rather make a smaller margin than sit for another month and pay more interest. Time your offer near the end of the month or quarter when curtailments hit and audits happen. That is when fear pushes action. Where you shop matters too. The best deals roll in waves. The Midwest clears early because winter hits hardest there. Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan dealers push to move units before snow. By late February, government surplus auctions start listing units used by agencies and disaster teams. Those go on sites that are not flashy, but are real. In spring, rental fleets dump older units in bulk as they prep for the new season. Cruise America, for example, sells Class C units at set prices with long service histories. They are not pretty, but they are maintained. Meanwhile, private sellers who stretched during the boom post late-night listings with must-sell in the title when payments or repairs stack up. Set alerts for the models you want. Move fast when a clean one appears. Transport routes matter. If you buy far away, plan the route, home, and the cost to get there. There is a hidden fee in this whole cycle that no one sees at first: insurance. In some states, especially Florida and parts of California, insurance premiums jumped. Carriers pulled back after storms and fires. That affects RVs too. Shop insurance quotes before you buy. A cheap trailer that is expensive to insure is not cheap. A motorhome parked at a home address in a high-risk area can be priced high by underwriters. Surprise bills crush budgets. Avoid surprises. But what if I told you the biggest risk right now is not buying the wrong model? It is buying the right model at the wrong time. Values are still settling. If interest rates ease and fuel holds steady, demand can stabilize. If a recession hits, dealers will cut deeper and auctions will flood. Watch two signals. First, watch floor plan lenders. If you see news of lenders pulling lines, that means forced liquidations are coming. Second, watch factory guidance. If the big manufacturers project lower shipments for the next quarter, they are clearing channels. That is when you see the cleanest units drop in price. You do not need to panic. You need a plan. Decide if you want a towable or a motorhome. Towables are cheaper to buy and insure. Motorhomes are easier to set up at camp and can be more comfortable on the road. If you choose a towable, make sure your tow vehicle can truly handle it. Towing a trailer at 90% of your truck's listed rating is not fun. You will feel it in crosswinds and on grades. The safe rule of thumb is to keep your loaded trailer weight under about 80% of your true capacity. If you pick a motorhome, budget for tires, fluids, and a full service before your first big trip. None of this is glamorous. All of it saves your trip. A quick word on miles and age. With motorhomes, chassis miles matter, but so does house age. An older diesel pusher with 50,000 miles and a well-cared-for interior can be a better buy than a newer one with hidden water damage. For Class Cs, the V10 gas engines from Ford have been workhorses for rentals. They are not fancy. They run. For Class Bs, Sprinter diesels can last, but service costs are higher. The newer gas vans from Ford and Ram are easier and cheaper to service in many towns. Pick the one you can get serviced where you live. If the idea of auctions tempts you, set a hard top number and stick to it. Remember the fees. Remember transport. Do not let a hot moment turn into a cold regret. If you do not love risk, buy from a private party with service records and a driveway full of tools. Those are the owners who fix things before they break. Meet them. You will know them when you see their organized bins. The last loose thread is the one that started this. Did the RV market really dump 3 million rigs? Oh, that number is internet drama. But the pain is not fake. Millions of households own RVs and hundreds of thousands change hands each year. In 2021, shipments were the highest ever. By 2023, shipments dropped sharply and used values fell hard from peak. Auctions are loud because they are where stress shows first. The scale is smaller than the rumor. The pressure is real to the people paying the loans. So where does it go from here? The answer sits with rates, fuel, and trust. If borrowing costs ease, floor plan pressure lessens. Dealers can breathe and be picky again. If fuel stays stable, families plan trips. If builders own the quality issue and fix things fast under warranty, trust rebuilds. If any of those go the other way, the correction drags on. And here's the twist almost no one talks about. The campgrounds themselves changed during the boom. Many raised rates. Many booked out far in advance. New parks opened, but not fast enough to match 2021 demand. That means the camping experience that sold so many RVs in 2020 is not the one some buyers found in 2023. Crowded parks with higher nightly fees and longer drives to find open sites make buyers rethink. If parks adjust, or if demand spreads across seasons, the experience gets better, and that helps sales too. For now, the best move is to slow down, do the checks, and be ready to act when the right unit shows up. Clean VIN, dry roof, solid floor, straight frame, service records, tires with fresh date codes, a title that tells a simple story. If you need financing, get pre-approved so you know the real payment. If you pay cash, know that cash is leverage, but only if you use it with patience. Let's end where the story began. Dealers are still whispering. Auction lanes are still noisy. But the snap you heard was not the end of the road. It was the sound of a market resetting to math. The last 3 years stretched that math to the breaking point. Now it is simple again. A rig has to be worth what it costs to hold. A trip has to be worth what it costs to take. If enough people can say yes to both at the same time, the lots will clear, the factories will hum, and the grass will no longer grow between brand new tires. Until then, keep your eyes on the places that move first. Watch those Midwest listings as winter loosens. Step into the lanes with a number in your head and a promise to yourself that you will walk if it does not feel right. Trust your nose, trust the meter. And when you do find the rig that checks out, do not forget to bring a flashlight. Vibes will not catch a roof leak. A little light will. If you want the one-liner version of this whole mess, here it is. The pandemic made everyone want the road. Cheap money made it easy to buy it. Expensive money made it hard to keep it. The end of that loop will decide whether this is the deal of the decade or the regret you parked in the side yard. The next curve on this road is already visible. The question is, who makes it around that bend before the meter runs out?